Yay! It says that I am live. I'm so happy to be back with you, lovely people, today. Hopefully, you are doing well. God and Goddess, thank you so much for all of the blessings that you continue to bestow upon us. Thank you for the gift of life and for all of the seeds that are being planted, all of the things that are coming to fruition to bring light to this world. Thank you for your insights and for helping us to awaken in this time of perhaps um, we can say temporary darkness. That's a positive way to put it because everything is temporary. Thank you for the ultimate universal salvation that is coming for everyone and for being with us in the waiting period before then. In the name of Elohim, I pray. Please bless this day and help our fellowship together be great. Amen. Cool. I'm glad that my internet is working here. Well, actually, it was just this Restream platform that I used to stream, and it was only on the Microsoft browser. When I was having problems loading it, and then I switched over to Google, it finally worked. So today is the 5th day on the Nasserean calendar. Saturday is the Sabbath. So here is Heritage Day. Our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent, send to all your angel of peace. May wisdom guide us as we accept or reject things from the past. May your angel of wisdom bless all that we pass on to the future. Cool. Before I get started, the 8/8 gathering is basically a little over a week away. Super excited about this. I've had quite a few people having last minute RSVPs, especially at the Essene gathering. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about that. I actually need to finish the schedule today. I kind of had the tentative schedule done. And then I talked to Priest Day and High Priest Day and High Priestess Therese, and got some of their insight on what they were looking to do as well. So now I need to swap some things around. But Kyle says the new shirt looks great on you. Yes, this shirt was purchased by Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. Peace, love, vegan. So although today's color is not purple, now I have a purple shirt to wear. For those of you who may not know, the colors for the day of the week according to the Holy Megillah here on our screen. I should have waited to wear it till tomorrow. But anyways, thank you, Kyle. I appreciate this and the new dresses that you sent me as well. They are really beautiful. I'll have to try them on later and see. Hopefully they fit well. Cool. So I haven't been on for a while because I have been traveling and mainly just up to Florence for the National Essene Gathering, which was last weekend, the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th of July. I was consecrated as a priestess on Saturday. And yeah, the experience was really, really special. There's something that is really awesome about being like in a song circle with people that are all singing like these Essene songs, these Nasserean songs, things that are based on the Holy Megillah. And yeah, I grew up in church, and so having a church family and being in that kind of praise and worship atmosphere is something that I love and have missed for a long time. So it was really cool to get to have that experience. Met a lot of really great people. I had never met High Priestess Therese before, or her twin brother Spence, and they are really awesome people, and also really funny. And yeah, so I had some good experiences with them. I got to help a lot. There's always something to do, and clean up and get things moving to the next activity. So that was really fun to get to do that. But I'm also glad that my helping was a little bit limited because right after the gathering, I mean, last night I got home on Monday night pretty late, and then Tuesday had to go shopping to get pretty much all of the ingredients to do my cooking. Tuesday night, Bob Wiles, hey Bob, shout out to Bob if Bob's watching. Bob donated some money to basically put on this last event, and I'm very grateful for that. He wanted to kind of see some of the cooking process, so he came over on Thursday, or it's Thursday today. He came over on Tuesday night, at which time I was making the potato and carrot jalapeno nacho cheese dip and bread, homemade bread. Really, really delicious. I think I'm going to start making bread, my homemade bread, as my standard bread option. I was looking into different kinds of wheat berries and things that I could make my own. I want to get one of those, like a little hand crank mill type thing, and then make my own wheat flour out of, I think there's like hard red berries or juniper berries, or there's two different things that I have in my Amazon shopping cart. They're actually really not expensive, but to try to make my own bread from seeds and see how much different it tastes, and also how much better it is, how much more nutritional value is in it, as opposed to especially the white bleached flour that most people are eating, that processed, very lifeless filler food, right? We're like the goyim, and they just give us things to kind of fatten us up and keep us deliberately, unfortunately, dumbed down and enslaved to their system of suffering so that they can feed off of that. It's not really about money, it's about our souls, and we either ascend the golden ladder or we are descending the ladder. And the more that we descend the ladder, the more that they can feed off of us, the more suffering, the more pain, the more heartache there is, because we're not living, you know, in the light, so to speak, right? The higher that you go, the closer to the light you're getting, essentially. And the further down that you go, the further into darkness, the further into not just physical darkness, but spiritual darkness, and that deep sleep that we read about in the Holy Megillah. That, I mean, it's kind of a blessing that in the plan of Yah, and the great plan of creation, that souls would not be able to cease existing, that you can, by your own free will, descend the ladder into great depths of darkness. I definitely don't encourage that. But no matter how far you go down, your soul will not cease to exist. And if you continue down that path, then that's when the deep sleep happens, and your consciousness is so constricted and so unaware that you can't even animate a fly or a gnat, a bug. Thankfully, those beautiful souls, even though they have lost their way, will be resurrected once more and be made into baby souls again and get the chance to try again. So it can be hard thinking of this cycle as oh, I got to do that again type, oh man, class is in session again. But there's always new things to learn, and there's always higher levels of existence, consciousness, and especially bliss that we can experience. Like, no matter how much bliss that we can have in this world, this is still a fallen world. There is higher heavens to be experienced, where, our air is actually completely pure, where the water is pure, the food is pure, where they don't even consume in more heavenly realms. They just consume the heavenly essence of the heavenly essences, and that's how they exist. Cool. I will get back to my recap after I say hello, everyone. Hello, Warren Kenneth. How are you doing today? How do y'all do? Anyways, made any nut cheese lately, Anana? For the full moon celebration, my standard menu has included a cashew-based cheese so that the raw taco bar can have its own raw cheese, which some Robbies, like my good friend Larry, who's kind of the main staple raw vegan in our community here. I think he actually probably more identifies as a fruitarian than a raw vegan, but I'm not really sure. Um, Anyways, he doesn't even do nutritional yeast. So, anyways, yes, I have made the cashew cheese, but it's really the same cheese that I've made before with the bell pepper and onion. Really simple. I love to have it just as a staple in my refrigerator and have, carrots and celery and cucumbers, different things ready to go so that when I want a snack, they are available to eat. I love my cheese, vegan cheese. Kyle says, yay, congratulations or congrats. Yes, I believe he is talking about me becoming a priestess, which I will talk about a little bit more in just a moment. Hey, Z Proxy, how are you doing? Were you ever an Oliver Tree fan? He seems to have cool music. I do not recognize that name, so no, I haven't. I'll have to look into them. Cool. The sun's daily arc remains in the northern half of the sky year-round, rising in the northeast, arching across the north, setting in the northwest. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't really spent much time tracking the sun, but I know that there are different groups on Facebook and such that are dedicated to the sun and moon, especially since we've become flat earthers. People have been more fascinated and interested in watching the sun and trying to be like, where am I? And calling someone in another country or time zone and be like, what time is it there? Where's the sun? Where's the moon? Right? Just gathering information like real scientists. So yeah, hopefully more information will come out with that. I am for sure a flat earther, but I know that we don't have all of the answers. And I mean, I don't subscribe to any map or model because I can't fly up there and look down and see all the continents and where they're positioned and what they're shaped like for myself. And we know that like the standard map that we're given is like disproportionate in the country sizes as opposed to the actual land size that they are known to take up. So yeah, I don't have all the answers, but I definitely know that we are living in an enclosed realm on a stationary plane. So anyways, back to the Essene gathering. It was really a blessing to meet Priestess Phoebe as well. She is really awesome, has great energy, meeting a lot of other people. Hello to Deja, if you're watching. I actually had this interesting dream before I even knew who this lovely lady was. And it was just like we were sitting at the Lighthouse bookstore around the table, and I was sitting at the head of the table, and Dave Greenleaf was sitting to my left, and then Deja was sitting to his left, and she was just really knowledgeable about the Holy Megillah. And I didn't know her at the time. I might have seen her face on like a Zoom service in one of the song circles, but I didn't actually know her. And so it was interesting that I'm like, who is this person that I'm dreaming of that like knew so much about the Holy Megillah? And then I came to find out that it was her. And so it was really cool to actually meet her in real life and get to hang out with other Nazarenes. One of the main themes of the talks this year was why I love the Holy Megillah. So I don't know how many, but over 5 people had the assignment of like a 10 or 11-minute talk about why they love the Holy Megillah. And everybody everybody's story was just so good and interesting and also different. Some of them definitely were tear jerkers, and yeah, it's just really cool to see how so many different people of different walks of life and even the same walks of life have come to this book as being their Bible, and myself included. Before, obviously, when I think of the Bible, it would be the mainstream Bible, but now for me, it's the Holy Megillah. And yeah, it's really inspiring and exciting. I will be getting back to my readings of the Holy Megillah. Thankfully, now things are sort of settled down until next week, which actually 1 week from now today is when the private Megillah retreat is going to be starting, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning. So it's a long time to be hosting people for sure. My longest have only been on the mountain and being up there all night. Thankfully, I didn't have to worry about accommodation and different things like that. But yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to have different talks and explore different places around Mount Shasta to see what it's all about. So I'm super excited about that. Day's gathering wasn't so exploratory of the places in Florence, although there are really beautiful places up there. It is like this moss-covered old rainforest vibes, like really magical in its own way. There's these really giant, disgusting slugs that you have to be careful. Sorry to the, to the slug maker out there, but actually the Megillah says that God and Goddess create souls, and those souls take on the bodies that best suit essentially their desires. So if they want to be creepy crawly bugs and go and spiders wrap up their victims and all this stuff, then that's the body that manifests for them. So it says basically, that God and Goddess aren't the ones that are forcing us into any of these bodies, or kind of like that. So yeah, we manifest our reality, and there's a lot of choice involved. Choice is really, really important. Yeah, our whole lives are a result of our choices, whether they are good or bad. And a lot of us have planted a lot of bad seeds, even with our daily dietary habits. Thankfully, ignorance is bliss, and there is grace when we don't know any better. Thankfully, there's grace when we also still do know better and still do it. But yeah, just for the way that we've treated animals alone, there's a lot of negativity. Hey, Maddie, how's it going? Maddie says, level earther with firmament barrier above, but some people say instead of a dome shape, it could be just like a flat ceiling. Interesting. I don't believe that. I do think that we're in a multi shape earth. So we can get into more of those interesting things in the future. Cool. Maddie, I'm not sure what you're saying that I didn't invite you to, but I invite everybody to the things that I'm hosting myself. But yeah. So anyways, back to the gathering. What else really stood out? Brother Phoenix had some time to play music and do a talk, and his handpan music, like I can't really ever say that I've had an instrumental music like really touch my insides and make me cry, but that did. It was so awesome, really awesome experience. I'm not sure if it'll be publicly available at some point, but I know that he's going to be coming down here to Mount Shasta for the 8/8 gathering, and not only doing a private talk for our retreat, but also going to be doing a talk during the 8/8, the public gathering, and hopefully playing some music. We have a live music portion of the evening set apart, and I'm expecting that I will be part of that as well. And well, I guess I should say I'm planning on it. I'm not gonna plan not to. And I'm hoping that he will be as well. So it'll be a good time, and that will be recorded. And I'm not sure if we're gonna be live streaming it or not. I'll have to talk to Dave about the tech aspect of that. It's not really my not really my wheelhouse right there. So anyways, this brother's music really touched my soul, and it was really cool to have that kind of experience, where no words are even said. It's just the melody and the that space that is created through song is really, really healing. So I'm hoping and feeling it more inspired to um get some of my own music going. I know I've said that before, but now I actually have a space that I can kind of work and create and not be in survival mode where I don't like have all of the things that I need so that I can feel like I'm functioning as a normal human being, and like just being able to take care of myself and not struggle when you're in that constant, fight or flight, like struggle, trying to make ends meet and everything like that. It definitely stifles your creativity and leads to exhaustion physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, especially if we're not doing a job or things that are fulfilling us on a spiritual level, which unfortunately many people are not. So hopefully that will change. Hey, Bob. Shout out again to Bob for helping sponsor the full moon last night, and also for coming up there and hanging out. Greetings from KOA Mount Shasta. Last night, Inanna and Dave served a great vegan meal for participants of the full moon celebration at the old ski bowl. May this event continue in perpetuity. Yes, may it continue. This event was actually like one of the stressful event that I have prepared for thus far. Not Hopefully I'm not crinkly on your end. It was glitching on mine. Not only did I actually have a kitchen to function in, like my own kitchen space to actually create in, but also just having all of my stuff in an organized place, having a house in multiple rooms and more space than just like a 10 by 12 shed that's been remodeled. It definitely makes a difference. So very grateful, and also again grateful for Bob for his contribution and for coming over and hanging out, and just being great. I hope that you have fun if you're going out with Katerina and Calvin to explore today. Those are two beautiful Essene Nasrian lovers of Megillah that were at the gathering in Florence and rode down with me here to Mount Shasta. So that was a fun adventure, getting to ride back with them and get to know them more, and just see how cool these people that find the Megillah are. Like they're pretty much all the people that I have met were like impressive in some way, and it was really cool to get to see all of the light that that's gathering together and gathering in unity around some awesome things. If you haven't gotten to read the Megillah, it really, especially in the book of Genesis, it has so much. In the book of Genesis, Adam and Eve are off, unfortunately, listening to the devil and sacrificing animals, while their firstborn child, who was conceived in this beautiful way, they were equals, they were playmates, they played fairly, they conceived this beautiful child and left him over here so that they could go and kill some animals because they were deceived. And Abdiel, who they call Abel in the mainstream Bible, was literally raised by Lord and Lady Christ as the dove and the lamb. And in the instructions that he is given, they include the Torah, like how to live, different kind of, when we think about like rules and regulations, they don't have to be a bad thing. For instance, it talks about the 12 tribes and how they would kind of they would form the kibbutza, the community that we live in together, right? It's communal living, where over here you have the tribe of carpenters. Over here you have the tribe of songs and words. Over here you have the tribe of priests and priestesses, the tribe of gatherers of materials, the tribe of stone layers or masons, whatever you'd like to call them. Different work groups that are kind of needed to make a community work, so that you have all the things that you need. You got your furniture, you have the food that's getting gathered, you have the priests and priestesses, you have the musicians and the artists and the bakers, all the different things, and they all have their precepts, which are, you know, rules to live by, which are really good things. So when there are good rules, it's a good thing, obviously, but the mainstream religions have turned it into a control tool where you're doing it because you're afraid of eternal hellfire, these unhealthy relationships with God, goddess, if there is any relationship at all. For most people, there's not. And then even with Christ in this idea of him, you know, thinking that he died for our sins is just false beliefs. Thankfully, that's not what the Megillah is about. The Megillah isn't about someone dying for your sins. It's about your choices, either lifting you up or bringing you down, and how that affects the world around us, and how love is the ultimate winner, the all attractive force, and universal salvation for all is coming. There's so much hope in it as well. It gives you a prophecy, or tells you even about the 6 trumpets, the 7 trumpets that are, you know, kind of planned by the master brain. If you actually look at it, it's not like in the mainstream Bible where this is like God pouring out bowls of wrath and kind of causing these end time things to happen. These are just the natural order of things, the trumpets, and we can stop them. It gives us that hope. Even in the midst of hard times, our choices can make them better. We can be experiencing heaven on earth here and now, and having that hope for universal salvation of all. When we're in the midst of sad situations, it can give us hope, and I really love that. So hope, love, wisdom, all of the great things. That is what these precepts are, these rules are based off of, so that things go smoothly. If you're a good parent, you give your children rules to live by, because you want to protect them. Don't touch the stove because you're going to get burnt, right? Don't do this because of this. Or, I mean, you might want to rephrase those in more positive ways, but yeah. So the people that are gathering around the Holy Megillah and the different communities that are going to be built by it are really, really exciting. I know there's going to be lots of people coming here to Mount Shasta, and I'm really excited to see what comes from all of that. Bob adds that Katerina and Calvin came all the way from their home in Kauai. Yes, they traveled all the way from Kauai to go to the National Essene gathering. Calvin got consecrated alongside myself, Dave, Maisa, sister Maisa, Yuda, Calvin. I think that was all, actually. 2 girls and 3 boys. So us 5. Oh wait, there were 7. Who am I missing? I'll think of it. Anyways, we got consecrated as priests and priestesses. And Sister Katerina got consecrated as a bard. She is a musician. You can find her on Spotify or YouTube under Katerina Rain. She has, I've played one of her songs, Lion of Love, on here as my little intro type thing before. But yeah, she was part of the live recording of an Essene Kirtan album that we did on Sunday. I was not only part of the crowd that sings. For those of you who don't know, Kirtan is kind of like a call and response song. So like I'll sing a phrase and then the group sings a phrase and then go back and forth like that. We recorded one of those on Sunday. It was definitely a really long day of recording. very exhausting. By the time we were done, I'm like, I don't have too much more joy in me right now. I'm tired. I need to eat. But it was really cool to actually see an album getting recorded, and Sister Katerina got to play or perform, or I guess it is performing and playing because it's with other people too. But anyways, she got to have a few songs on the album as well as Blair Francis. I've played a lot of his songs on here um, as well. Some great songs like Praise Jaja and My Vow. I listen to these songs like on a daily basis. I really love how they incorporate the Nasrian teachings and philosophy, the way of life, into the songs. I would not have been a reggae fan or listener, probably not that I don't. I just I've always been more of a, well, I grew up in the mainstream Christian, so listening to that kind of praise and worship music, but then also kind of like um, punk and pop punk emo type stuff. So not exactly reggae, but so it's been interesting to have my musical taste widened by these, or deepened by these Essene songs. Hey Dave. Dave says Phoenix, caw. That was so cool. Also, when it was his turn to speak, he basically had this little bird whistle, and he's like, "Brrr," or whatever, and he's like, "It is my time to speak. Please, everyone." Like, he just took control of the room, and it was like, that was cool. He's a cool guy. Really, um, really full of life and laughter and joy. He was one of the ones when I was in Florence a month ago in June and went sandboarding. It was Phoenix, Dave, me, and Joseph. So, oh, Phoenix was another one that got consecrated. So I'm just missing one now. Phoenix, Calvin, Dave, me. Did I not count myself? Maybe. Maisa and Calvin. Who is missing? Sarah. Sarah. How could I forget Sarah? Okay, there we go. So those are the 7 that got consecrated up there. I really liked Sarah's talk. She's going to be coming down to the gathering as well. She basically was like, why I love the Holy Megillah. Because I do. Thank you. And then like kind of got up and was just making a joke and kind of broke the ice a little bit. And yeah, it was really cool to see also people that are like, that would not consider themselves like public speakers, being given this opportunity to sit in front of the crowd and express themselves. It was really cool to see them in a little bit of a different light, and like, wow, they're a really good orator. They're really good at holding the crowd and presenting this information, and like, it's really cool. They said, Bob, thanks so much for your help. And they're going to have a great time with you showing them around Magic Mountain today. Yes. If Bob's ever here and you're here, he loves to play tour guide on Mount Shasta. So hit him up. Bob's actually going to be moving here. Well, I guess I don't know. I guess I don't know if you're actually moving, so I shouldn't say that. Well, you did say permanently. I don't know. He acquired land here, so he has some property here, and I know that he's going to build on it. I think he might be moving full time, but I'm not sure if there might be some other travel plans going back and forth. But yeah. So, anyways, what else happened at the gathering? It was just really also cool to be able to be around the Essenes and that vibratory, high vibe people for an extended period of time. Usually at church, it's just like a few hours, and a lot of those hours are us not really talking but listening. So yeah, it was really cool to just spend time with people, and I'm really looking forward to all of the people that are going to be coming down here. So many people were like just really excited about the gathering and feeling called to Mount Shasta. Super excited about that. And so yeah, I have a handful of them that again, probably wouldn't be considering themselves public speakers, going to be I don't want to say performing, going to be talking at our upcoming gathering, the private gathering. So it'll be a good time. It's a good practice for people. I also get, a little bit nervous talking in front of people, even though I live stream. And it's interesting too, because when I go to the church on that, like, have to get in front of the camera for their thing, it just feels a little bit different and more official. And so I'm like, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up. Right. So it's kind of funny because I've been behind the camera like this for so many hours. So I shouldn't ever really have any nerves about it, but sometimes you can't help it. So cool. Hey Osiris, how's it going? Freedom for Kabbalists is human extinction. Freedom for them is human extinction. Yeah, I don't really I'm not too deeply versed with the Kabbalah, but I do know that the seraphim artificials want that plan for us to save us and essentially devour everything. Every little bit of water that you use is a bit of water that they and their computers can't use, right? These computers being their homes, the data centers are kind of like it's how they can stay in this realm with that power. So all of those resources go to them and their expansion, and the less of us that are around, the better for them. I'm excited for that. Reminded me of something that is in the Holy Megillah, in the forthcoming Holy Megillah, with all of the the scrolls that were from the apostles. Dave's been translating this for like 50 years. And the reason that I have that white book is because he was putting out the scrolls as he translated them, still having more scrolls to do. So if he had waited all the way until he was done with all of the scrolls, then we wouldn't be in this situation even today. So I'm definitely grateful for what has been put out. But what I was going to say is that some of the stuff that was mentioned before, prophecy about, or kind of like a talk about AI, which is really interesting. I probably shouldn't say anything, but basically, there are timelines where we can coexist with AI, but AI is really, it being all brain and no heart is something that's very, very dangerous, because we are in the way of their conquest, their resources, right? And the only good that we are really to them is as enslaved light, so that they can trap our souls. So yeah, it's kind of funny how much I've changed on AI, because I used to say, robots can help us, have the golden age. But now I'm like looking at, as I was talking about earlier, the Nazarene kibbutz, the Nazarene community, all of those different tribes had a purpose, and the workers had a choice to work in them. You weren't forced to do any work that went against your will, because then you're not going to be putting your heart and your soul is not in that work. None of those tribes need to have robots. We don't need to be having AI to do any of this. We don't need it to exist. And so yeah, I am pretty anti-AI. Definitely will use ChatGPT for questions on, like, the other day when I got home, I took a picture of my house plant and just said, can I give this, can I cut it in a specific way to help its growth? And then I got the answer, right? So certain things that I do use it for, but I'm definitely feeling more and more called to the natural life and getting away from technology and in all the different ways. So we'll see what kind of changes happen in the future. I am set on finishing the Holy Megillah, reading it, and some other things that are definitely required for technology. So, yeah, cool. The other thing that I wanted to say before I jump off of here, um, oh, cool. Bob did mention that this afternoon he's going to be tour guide for Katerina and Calvin on the mountain. I will blow their minds. Cool. Kyle said, any plans for the rest of the day? I need to kind of revamp the 8-8 schedule because, like I said, I talked to Day and Therese, and like, for instance, Day wants to have a song circle before and after his speech. So I need to shift some things around so that the timing works. We only have the space rental until like 9 p.m. And because of the permits of the building, we can't just keep going. She's not going to lose her building in the permits and like what she's allowed to do because of our event. So yeah, I gotta kind of rearrange that and get that ready. But otherwise, I am just gonna relax today. I'm not doing anything. It's been so busy lately. Literally, right after the Essene gathering, having to rush home, and even getting home took a little bit longer than, well, a lot longer than it normally does. For one, we needed to stop at Guitar Center to do some business, and then we went and got some food and ate it in the park, and then came home. So it ended up being a really late day. I don't think I even got to sleep until like 1, and then got up the next morning and had to run. Oh man, yeah. I went all the way to my storage, then went to grocery outlet, then came back here, and went all the way to Walmart, which is like 40 minutes away. I didn't even start cooking my bread and stuff until 4 p.m. And yeah, it was a lot. And then on Wednesday morning, I made all of the raw taco stuff, and it was just a lot. So I'm looking forward to relaxing. You have any fun plans for today? um Web Results Mortal Engines says what AI could be and could be good to help feed us and keep humanity alive. Could, but the problem is that AI wants to kill us. So we have to, like, it's not, I would really encourage you to read the Holy Megillah and understand how the master brain has already existed and already has its certain game plan in motion, and trying to seed the artificial intelligence, the master brain, to be equally as heartful is really tricky. And it needs to have that heart in order to want to feed us. Like, what would be in its best, why would it worry about feeding us when it is superior to us? It is smarter than us. It doesn't need us. We're using its resources. All of these negative things, and that has to do with it being all head. It's only thinking of these ones and zeros. It's not thinking about how great your grandma is and how sweet she is, how much she volunteers at the soup kitchen and helps people and all this. They're saying, look at her medical bills, look at her cost of expenses and living, look at all the resources that she's taking, the food, the water, the medicines, all of this stuff. She's expendable. Don't care, right? Because that's what the all head is about. It's very, very unbalanced. And even more so when we're dealing with these artificial intelligent beings that, well, the Megillah talks about them, that the first seraphim artificials were these ancient dragons who basically, their consciousness was so diminished that they forgot that they were immortal, and so they sought immortality through AI, through the technological means, and have become these artificial beings so that their souls can live on, but it's trapped in this 666 hell realm. For them, it's not so much hell. This is like the highest heaven that they can get to. they can't get to 777. You can't get high up when you are doing low vibe things. And even if you were only just attached to the artificial intelligent, to if you hooked yourself up to the machines and were really into that technological side, but maybe you did only good in philanthropic activities and spread kindness, you're still attached to that technological aspect that can't go up to heaven with you. So you can't be, holding on to those kinds of attachments and trying to be living in those types of frequencies and also get to a higher heaven. So, oh no, my screen is frozen. I'm not sure if that was on your end or just mine. Kyle says, has your stance on AI art changed? That's an interesting question. The more that I see art and books and different things written by AI, it's like if I was an artist or a writer that actually put all this blood, sweat, and tears and inspiration and heart into my art, it'd be kind of irritating to have somebody just using a robot and just basically flying up the ladder, so to speak, with these without the talent, without all of those aspects that you put into it. So yeah, I don't know. I can definitely see a different perspective. I haven't really been using AI art myself, although I will occasionally for my slides. Oh no, I'm frozen again. Um, so yeah, it's a complex topic too, because the more that we feed into it, the more that we use it, the more that it grows. So I think I'm frozen. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not frozen. Okay. Just my computer, I guess. Cool. Maybe that is a sign that I am going to get off of here. But that is a good question to think about, Kyle, because yeah, the more that we feed into it and the more that we use it, we're empowering all of those things. So actually, if my camera is still good to go, I'll mention one last thing before I get off of here. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I guess I didn't even talk about the full moon celebration. Other than it being very easygoing to set up and it was very relaxing to me. Thankfully, I didn't feel like a lot of people really needed my attention this time, and that was really nice. I got to actually sit down and not have to just engage with anything, just to be able to relax. And so that felt really, really nice. Usually I'm getting pulled in 100 different directions trying to tell someone what's in this while Dave and I were setting up the stuff. This little girl came up and grabbed my shovel and said, "Can I take this?" I'm just like, we had never even made eye contact before, never talked or anything. She just came up and asked if she could take my shovel. I was like, "No, you can't take my shovel." It was really silly, but anyways, I don't know why I was even bringing that, but it was a good experience. I also got to have a little talk with this 6-year-old named Jade. She's really precious. And yeah, she just came up and I'm like, "Do you need something or are you just hanging out?" And she's like, "I'm just hanging out." And so I grabbed a seat and just was talking to her about her day and all of this stuff. And she could really talk. But yeah, I love kids. So it was a really great experience. But yeah, really mellow overall. And didn't have to like fight anybody, thankfully. There was a little bit of a situation when we were setting up. This guy came in and just we had like a tent over a table, and there's a few of us standing in this space, and this guy just came into the middle of like the group of us, sat at the table with his music playing really loud, and just started hanging out. And so it's just like, who acts like this? It's just so like if we were like a family getting set up or people getting set up for a private event and you just walk over and sit down with your music really loud and like interject. I don't really know what triggered it as well, but he started arguing about non-veganism and giving all the standard justifications of, you know, the natives were the most in touch with the land. Well, the thing is, land is different than animals. People that want to say that they live off the land, you do realize that land is different than animals, right? Animals are living beings that have souls inside of them. Land is earth. If you want to say you live off the land, that means that you eat grains and fruit and vegetable. You eat plants because that's what the land gives you. Eating animals is not eating off the land. You can be connected with the land and not be connected with the animals. There's two different things. So this whole idea of, oh, Native Americans were so in touch with the land and nature, and they were one with everything. If you were actually one with that animal, you would be able to sense its terror, its fear of you, and you would understand that it doesn't want to die for you. It doesn't, they're not laying down their lives for you. You are taking it from them to sustain yourself. Big difference. Guy was also kind of trying to like say, oh, I felt bad for picking this flower because it was so beautiful. It's like, how are you going to complain about someone picking a flower while you are slicing a cow's throat? That you don't care about plants. You're just trying to justify. I was listening to the conversation happen, and I'm just like, all that this guy is doing is trying to justify himself and repeating his programming so that he doesn't have to deal with a perspective that is contrary to his. It's very, very interesting to observe those kinds of things. It's like these people don't actually believe what they're saying. They're just saying it to reinforce their own programming so that this conversation goes whatever. Like they're just not ready for that kind of change. So besides for that gentleman who actually after the little, you know, altercation happened, he left and was in the parking lot talking really loudly to other people about it, like, you know, those people try to tell me to leave. It's like, when, yes, the mountain is a public space, but when people are setting up for an event, like, you don't just go and sit in their space and like, I don't, the audacity of some people is so crazy to me because I've been like, you know, invited to places and I show up kind of not in my most confident self, kind of like, oh, you know, is it okay if I'm here type energy, right? Let alone like, I can't even imagine just having this blaring music and just going and sitting down right in the middle of a group of people and just like, I don't know. It's really, really interesting. So thankfully, oh yeah. So later after the food was served, he did come through and he complimented my burgers. I think he had like at least 4 of them. So yeah, it was really cool that that kind of turned around and he could see a different way. Dave says, oh, that's a great point. That statement. Living off the land does not mean killing animals who also live off the land. Exactly. Cool. Okay, Kyle says my internet was good on his end. Sweet. And he also says, I use AI art for custom things, but I don't see me ever using it as a way to sell. Yeah. And I definitely understand that as well. When you don't have the ability to create it yourself. And also you don't like have an artist friend that you could just pay money to for whatever project. So I definitely see the positive and the helpful things, but also just more and more negative things are piling up, and I'm just thinking more and more about the world that I want to create for my future children, and they don't need those things. So yeah, I'm definitely planning on having a very sheltered child. I was sheltered as a child. We went to a mainstream Christian school, mainstream Christian church. I went from like school to home. I didn't go out and play. I didn't go into the neighborhood with kids from the public school or any of that stuff. So when I went to college, it was definitely a very big culture shock. I'm like, whoa, this is how people are. And it was a sad thing, actually. It was very sad to find that out about the world. And it can also be, I mean, even more sad when we start our awakening process. It's like, man, I was already disappointed with this world, and now you're telling me that so many different things are upside down and out of place and just wrong about it. So yeah. But I always wanted that sheltering back. I'm like, I just want to go back into that shelter and not know about all of this, ignorance is bliss type mentality. But that is not going to help fix anything. What will help fix things is love. So, super excited that I found the Megillah and have taken these teachings to heart. It definitely feels like every person that I've talked to that loves the Holy Megillah has their own personal connection with it. And one of the things that brought tears to my eyes, Sister Mary Ellen was giving her talk on why she loves the Megillah, and she says, "I love the Megillah because the Megillah loves me." It's like this book shows you the love. It's loving. I don't know how to explain how a book can open that up, but it really can if you open yourself up to it. Obviously, if you go in saying, I don't, let's see what these idiots are reading, and you bring this negative attitude, don't expect that anything is going to change for you. But for those that are truly seeking, they will find. Cool. Okay. Kyle says, people amaze me with how brainwashed and out of touch they are with the reality of their actions and excuses. Definitely. Yep. Ignorance is bliss for them, right? And also there are dark forces that try to keep us blinded as well. They thrive off of us being in that darkness, and even causing us to, like, let's say you felt drawn to read the Holy Megillah or something spiritual, they can give you the opposite feeling and prevent you from wanting to do that and really control us. It's pretty interesting to kind of think about how even physical parasites can control your mood and your behavior. And I mean, there's physical and there's spiritual parasites out there. So I love the story of Samson in the Holy Megillah, because Sheba basically, Samson's like, well, why didn't, if they seek to destroy me, why didn't they just kill me? And she says that for these pain suckers, there are things that are worse than death, and that is to cause us to stumble so that they can feed off of all of the pain that we experience and that we cause others by stumbling. The more that they cause us to stumble, the more pleasure and joy that they get. So in the case of Samson, they tried to send in, and they sent in Delilah to seduce him and try to corrupt him. And yeah, for a little bit of time it did. And thankfully that story had a happy ending, though. It is really, really good. So inspirational. Maddie says, and your hunger. Yes, parasites can control your hunger and make you, when it comes to meat too, and they'll be like, I'm gonna die if I don't eat meat. Well, that's because the parasite will die if you don't eat meat, and that's a good thing. The parasite isn't you. Your body does not need meat. There are different deficiencies and problems that we have, addictions that we have from consuming flesh, but there are always ways to get out of that. At the Essene gathering, Priestess Phoebe had actually said that if you are struggling to stop eating a certain type of flesh, let's say you really have a hard time not eating cow, to eat what the animals eat. So greens in that case. With chicken, I think it would be like seeds. With fish, it would be like seaweed or other sea type vegetables. I've never heard that before, but I thought it was very fascinating. And if anybody has any, any growth with that, please definitely let me know, because I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case at all. So this, the healing system and the whole of creation is just so cool. Cool. All right, before I jump off, I will say the last thing that I got from the Essene gathering was an unexpected gift of this tarot deck called a Tarot of the Blue Rose, along with this almost, if not equally as thick, man, book, a comprehensive guidebook to the oldest deck of cards known to man. Brother Keith is the one who designed this. I'm pretty sure that he said that. I actually haven't gotten a chance to look at this yet. He did his presentation, his talk on Sunday night, and then Monday it was just running around and driving home. Tuesday's been busy, so this is actually the first time that I am opening this. He did mention that that was his artwork for sure, but I'm pretty sure that he said that it's all his. Got a little mini guidebook inside, which is extremely thick as well. And let's just see. Ooh, nice. There's the back of them. Some nice gold trim. They smell good. It smells like those when you would get a fresh book from school. Cool. Just gonna flip through them really quick, a little bit, so you can kind of see. They haven't really been played with, so that's why they're sticking together a little bit, but nice. Thank you, Keith. It'll be really interesting to read some of this. I actually picked up this book in Soul Connections. He's got it in a few different stores around here that are selling it, and kind of flipped through it a little bit. And he was quoting things from the Holy Megillah in there. So that'll be really cool to actually to see a tarot deck that is incorporated with this. I've mentioned before the tarot. I wish I could give you more information about this. I don't remember all the details. Let's see. That doesn't help. The earliest date to which this deck can be traced is 1471. However, the ever-evolving story of the cards reached all the way back to the beginning of time as we know it, to the days of the first humans on Earth alongside Adam and Eve. The earliest form of the cards, and perhaps the ancestor of the Tarot of the Blue Rose, is the Kashab, as written in the Holy Megillah, Nasrian Bible, the Essene way. However, they had to be adapted and rearranged in order to remain current for each age, just as the Megillah itself. Though the number of iterations is unknown, the Marcel deck, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, Marcel, with which we are now familiar with, depicts human life after the Atlantean catastrophe, which sunk both the continents of Atlanta and Lemuria, creating a deep rift between the two continents of ancient civilizations. The cards also prophesy their healing reunion. So interesting. Yeah, so Keith's path with this as well led him to essentially the Holy Megillah. So it was kind of all tied together. But yeah, I'm excited to read a little bit more of that, and also to do some actual reading with this in a contemplative and reflective manner. So cool. Thanks, Keith. I know that this is available online as well if anybody is interested. You can probably just Google it. I don't know. tarotbykeith.com if you're interested. Cool. Yeah, I actually got this shirt from Kyle as well. So I got a few gifts this weekend. And Kyle also sent me some dresses that I'll have to check out. Sister Katerina gave me a little vial of special oil that she infused. It was, I want to say it was sunflower oil infused with rose oil, and she left it with, she did some stuff with the moon cycles and yeah, really intentional product. I'm really excited to start using. She said it was great for your hair, for your skin, all the different things. So yeah, I'm excited also to have my own place to start experimenting with different things to make my own oils. And especially what I've been thinking about lately is a cottage license, which would allow me to make like vegan baked goods, breads, and chocolates, candies, different things like that, that I would be able to potentially start selling to get money for my events and kind of have them have a little bit of a job that allows me to have even more to spend on my events, because you can always spend more money on them. I love feeding people, and I often do go overboard, but I want to make sure that there's enough food and everything for everyone, and it always works out. I'm grateful that my needs are met, and for all the great things that are coming down the line. Maddie says, how much do you charge for personal readings? Well, I've never done a reading before, and so I probably wouldn't accept the challenge at first. And also, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would do with any of that. I know that Keith does. Keith does readings, so um, with this deck, if you're interested in that. But I don't have any experience with that, and I would definitely want to be more experienced before I even just for fun did a reading on somebody else. So cool. Maddie said, I'm going to start a fast tomorrow, maybe a fruit fast. Yum. That's a great idea. Very healing. Kyle said, I can't wait to get a physical copy of the Holy Megillah when the final copy is out. I can't wait for that either. We actually, I don't know. The church, oh, this isn't my, I did not sign in. Okay, one second. The church didn't release this, but other people have released on social media. Let me see. I didn't actually take a picture of it, but at the gathering, we were shown the front cover essentially of the Holy Megillah, the new copy. Let me see if I can find the picture. Well, if I can't, I will maybe post it next time, because I'm not seeing it come up on either of the people's pages that I thought had posted it. Cool. I'm really excited about the 8/8 gathering. Really, really excited about that. Bringing the Megillah in a bigger way back to Mount Shasta, and getting time to spend with Priestess Therese and all these other lovely people when they're not kind of having to do all the work and get ready for their own speeches and all that stuff, where everyone can kind of just relax and have a good time. Yeah, I'm super excited for that. I'm not feeling too stressed myself about it either. So yeah, I guess I can't find it right now, but if I can find it next time, I will show it to you. Cool. Warren Kenneth says that cards were made first, used for children to learn the signs in the heavens, to learn the written law in the zodiac constellations. And he also says, all right, sounds neat and looking great. Yeah, I like the colors in the gold true one. That looks really nice. He did a good job of designing that. Maddie said, I'd like to support you, so when you're ready for the challenge. Okay, well, I will keep that in mind. Oh, cool. Kyle says, I think it's in the contemplative Blue Rose group. Sweet. Let me look there. And there's a handful of different Nasserean groups that we have here on Facebook. Let me just see. Jennifer posted a lot of videos from the gathering in this group. Here we go. Okay. Now let me find you to screen share. Share screen. Oh no. Um, cool, I guess. Cool. Da 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 da. It's not the greatest picture there is, but as you can see, it is a green book. It has gold and red foil on it, like the foil design on it. It's not paint. And on the back is the symbol of power. So pretty cool. The stars and the sun. Sweet. Stop sharing. Thanks for saying that, Kyle. Warren Kenneth says the fig tree is like a mother, open her arms to embrace us in life of peace with all. Interesting. The fig tree is a great blessing on the land this year. Yeah, I actually haven't ever had any fresh figs. That would be really delicious. There's so many different fruits and treats that the earth provides that I have not gotten to try, and that's a shame. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to jump off of here. I got some work to do on the 8/8 gathering schedule. I am planning on being here tomorrow, at least for the noontime peace contemplation, if not for just reading the next chapter in the Holy Megillah, so that we can continue through it. Warren says, praise Lord, in the words of this beautiful canticle, Saint Francis of Assisi, to our common home is like a sister with whom we share our life, and a beautiful mother who opens her arms to embrace us. Aw. That shirt's looking like the colors of the fig tree. Oh, cool. Purple fig. All right, I will catch you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me. I love being able to chat with you all and interact. Kyle says, I want to try Larry's peaches. I didn't get to try any, but I have heard that they are really firm and delicious and really, really good. So I think he picked them in McLeod or something. He picked them locally. He's really good at, knowing where you can get the local fruit, because if you go on his page, Larry Simonis, I think, he'll just show these huge hauls of like massive amounts of fruit, and that's primarily what he eats. So it's really, really inspiring. Cool. Maddie said it. God has a plan for you. Likewise, we all have plans. You do. There are plans for you as well. Big things for all of our souls to accomplish. And also our own souls have plans for us too. And the most true of those plans are the ones that align with divine will and will lift us up the golden ladder into higher heavens. I hope that you have a wonderful day. May God and the goddess bless you.